When is it time to up-pot your seedlings or put your little seedlings into bigger containers? The short answer is once you see that first set of true leaves. You can see with these little guys, that first little leaves are what's called the cotyledons, the seedling leaves. And then we'll start to emerge the true leaves. Once they're at this stage, then you can go ahead and up-pot them. You can see it on the peppers as well. They're just starting to get that first set of true leaves. So these ones I am gonna wait a little bit till they get more of their true leaves, and then I'll up-pot these ones. And as you can see with all of my brassicas here, they are definitely needing to be put into bigger pots and separated so that they can grow properly. These little guys have just germinated, so they will stay in their pots for a while longer. Of course, this is not always the case. For example, here we have some thyme, and even though it has plenty of leaves on it, I want it to grow nice and thick and bushy. It's a perennial, it can handle its roots being all clumped together. So I'm gonna leave this, and if anything, I might just top it and trim it. And there's some more mint in the back, and that's just gonna be staying and growing in that container. These hibiscus are ready to be up-potted. Borage, I'm gonna put into bigger pots. Now this chamomile, if I had not put so many seeds in, it could stay, but it is basically thick as a carpet, so I'm gonna go ahead and separate it in clumps into some other pots. When up-potting, the other thing we need to think about is the roots. Really, the reason we wanna up-pot them, put them into bigger containers, is so the roots have a chance to grow and develop. This little guy here, you think, oh, it's just so little, but you can see the roots are already growing out of the bottom. So we're gonna put this into a bigger container, give the roots a nice big chance to grow, because it's the size of the roots that's gonna dictate the size of the plants. So we want a nice big root system, because when we go to transplant them outside, this will give them the best chance to grow and thrive. And then sometimes the plants are just so big that they're just outgrowing that container. And this one actually had a third one that sprouted that's just gonna get choked out. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these into bigger containers. Now all plants are different. Some can handle their roots being disturbed, some don't like it as much, but you always wanna be as careful as you can. Another reason to up-pot is you don't want these to intertwine their roots too much for ones that are more sensitive. These cabbage have just needed to be up-potted last week, but you know, they'll get there. They have roots. Even if I tear a little bit of these roots away, it might set them back a little bit, but they're still gonna grow. If you haven't been around long, you'll learn my motto is it's okay, it'll grow. A lot of times plants, you might think that they're more sensitive than they are. As long as they have sunlight, water, and available food, they'll do the rest of the work themselves. The last thing I want to talk about is what size of container to put them into. So for things like this is broccoli, I want them to each be in their own container. I'm gonna be putting them each in one per solo cup, and I don't wanna have to up-pot again, so I'm just gonna put them in here, let them grow. They'll have another 4 or 5 weeks, and then I'll be able to plant them out. For other things like this chamomile, which I just really sowed too thickly, I'm just gonna actually break this apart into pieces and then put a big chunk into a container like this. I've did some newspaper pots. It's gonna have lots of room for all of those roots to grow, and then I can plant it directly in the garden. And lastly, I have these 3 little hibiscus plants, and these are gonna go out after the last frost. They're gonna have to grow another long while, and they're gonna get pretty big. So I'm actually gonna put them in these big pots right here, one per one of these, so they're gonna have lots of room to get big, and I won't have to put them 2, 3, 4 times into bigger pots. They have the roots coming out, so they're gonna be able to utilize all of this very well. That's just my system of how and when I like to up-pot my plants. General rule, as long as it's got that first set of true leaves, then you go ahead and you can up-pot them. Try to put it in a container that it can grow in until it's time to go outside, and then you don't have to do it 2 or 3 times, because that can also set back your plant. And if you're curious about how to make these newspaper pots, I did a little video of it last year. Check that out. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.